You sound good. Sound
It
good.
sounds
Look
good?
good. Yes.
How
Hey,
are
Joe.
you?
Good. Joe Coy, thanks so much for hopping on.
You know, I hate to show my age, but just me requesting to go on Variety made me look like an old man. Should I? Like, is that on? Did I do it? Did I requested? You know, there was a time, I'm not even joking, when you were talking, like joking, you hit request, I was literally talking to you, even though you couldn't hear me. I was like, I requested. I'm on. What do I need to do? Do I just talk? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
This quarantine thing's got us doing Zoom and IG Live. I don't know any of this stuff, man. I just want to be in the studio with you and talking to you, you know? But I understand what we're all going through, and everyone, please be safe out there. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to do that.
At least you got the camera in selfie mode, so like props, dude.
Yeah.
You're like,
Imagine if I answered the phone and this popped up. Like, hey, I'm so happy to be here. Hold on. Hey, where are you? I don't see you. Oh.
we could just go on like this. We don't even have to talk about the special, dude. We could just
Why? Why should we?
Yeah, I know. This is way more. Well, the special is because the special is hilarious. The
Thank
special is so funny, and you know, you say that it is a bucket list thing that you've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
Why did you describe it that way?
I mean, I'm going to put you guys back when I was a kid. Okay. So let's go way back into the 70s and 80s and having an immigrant mom move to Washington. And then you have a kid that's half white, half Filipino, just trying to struggle with your identity. And then people asking you who you are all the time. And then me mentioning, oh, I'm also half Filipino, and no one knowing who that is. Like, oh my God, what's that? What's a Filipino? What do you guys eat? Like, you know, I felt like that was my whole life, and I never had anyone to like identify with. There was no one like that was in the mainstream, or there was no one I could like point to or go to. And you know, that didn't come to me until when I found out that like Tia Carrera was Filipino or Rob Schneider was Filipino. And then I started having these little heroes that I can identify with, you know, Lou Diamond Phillips. And then all of a sudden Manny Pacquiao came onto the scene, and then Filipinos became more of a talk. You know what I mean? Like, it was like I would go to the office and people would be like, yo, that boxer, Manny Pacquiao, Filipino. It felt good. It was like, you know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't me trying to sell who I was. I know there's a long story to get to what I'm trying to get at, but that's why this was so important to me, because there's kids out there that, you know, like, you know, that probably live in middle America, and just like now they can go and say, hey, you should check out this special. Or there's probably people at that work that go, hey, I watched this special and they were talking about being in the Philippines and I thought of you. Like, that's what it's all about, man. I hope I'm not too wordy, but that's what this meant to me. It was just that one moment where I can show the world and how beautiful my culture is, and me giving back to a culture that gave so much to me. You know, my livelihood, my life is based on me talking about being Filipino.
So, I mean, right now, especially embracing that, like, and especially among like the AAPI community, this is like really a moment to be able to embrace that and like use that in your work. But when you were growing up, was that necessarily something that you embraced? Like, you talk about kind of having to explain to people, and I think there is this like level of like trying to downplay that for a lot of us for a lot of our lives.
Yeah, 100%. But I always found, when I first started doing stand-up, that it was hard for me to talk about being Filipino. You know what I mean? And not because it was like I don't want to talk about it. It's because I didn't understand how to deliver the funny without being too specific, or looking at the crowd and going, all right, none of you guys are going to get this because you're not Filipino. It took me a long time to figure out how to like tell people indirectly that I'm Filipino, but also have people relate, you know? Like, and then when I finally figured out, oh, I'll just be my mom and just get into the character. And then people realize that, oh, your mom's just like my mom. You know what I mean? moms just do funny things. Yours just happens to be Filipino, but my mom does exactly what your mom does. And that's what it was for me. It took a long time for me to try and figure that out, because I wanted to be funny for everyone, you know? So that was, so yeah, to answer your question, I did find myself the beginning stage of my stand-up career to just concentrate on being funny and kind of downplay, not shining light on being Filipino just yet until I figured it out.
Well, now that you brought the show to the Philippines, it's not just your stand-up special. Like, this is like a talent show is kind of how it's like talent show, travel show.
Everything.
There's like some Anthony Bourdain vibes going
Yes.
on.
That's exactly what I pitched in the pitch meeting. I go, I want this to be a variety show, travel log. And I said, I want it to look like Anthony Bourdain. As long as I can say chicken adobo, which is my favorite dish, as long as I can say that and just get it in other people's ears, like, oh, I want to try chicken adobo, then I won. If I can just let them hear what Tagalog sounds like, the national language, like the little boy rapping on that beat in Tagalog was so amazing. You know what I mean? To have a special open up like that and just let people hear our language and see how cool our culture is, and then that opportunity of bringing someone like Illmind, who produces beats for Drake and got a Grammy for Jay-Z and Beyonce and working with Kendrick Lamar. And now here he is going to the Philippines and working with a kid that just wants to be a rapper. And now he's got that opportunity to do that song. That's inspiring. You know what I mean? That's going to motivate other people that live there to continue doing what they do, follow their dream, And my boy Ronnie, the B-boy, I've known him 20 years. We opened for Snoop Dogg together. I used to do B-boy shows in Vegas, and he used to be in them. So for me to be like, Ronnie, I got this show, I want you to dance, it was a beautiful thing. For him to go to the tenements, where the most hardest situation, the most hardest life, like these kids are struggling. But for that moment, you should have seen the smiles on their faces, auditioning for Ronnie to open up for my special. Like, it was like a lot of like tear-jerking moments. So that's what that special is to me.
But also a lot of hilarious moments, and you bring on comedians. But now, because is the pressure on? Because now all the Lolas, all the aunties, they're looking, they're gonna be watching, they're gonna look, they're gonna have comments. Like, did you bring shame to the family?
I hope not. I hope I did a beautiful representation of our culture, because one, I had 59 minutes. That's all I can put out. So how do I squeeze everything in and still like shine light? Of course there was so much more I wanted to do, but there's also budgets and time restrictions. And and I thought I felt like I hit it out of the park. I got my aunt in there. My auntie Opie was cooking. My sister was in there cooking. And we're talking about food and culture and the struggles of being in a Filipino family where doing something like stand-up comedy is kind of like maybe not that choice, not that career choice, Joseph. Maybe do something else. But for me to bring these kids there to the Philippines through comedy is just special to me, man. I did it with jokes.
Do you feel a little showed up that Chappelle dropped his thing last night?
No, not at all, man. Like, this is we're in a very special time right now of what's going on in our country, but the beautiful thing about what Chappelle did is he's getting the message out there to the world. And that's what this platform is all about. Like, this isn't a competition. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never understood what competition means. Like, I love Dave. You know what I mean? Like, what he does, like, I opened for him 25 years ago. Like, the words that he told me, I cherish to this day. And him getting that message out and using his platform to speak to millions and millions of people about the situation that we're in. Yeah, share the like it's never even looked at like that. Like, I love that. I'm glad that we're able to do that. You know what I mean? I'm sharing my platform. I mean, when this all started, it's just beautiful. It's like, that's why you're seeing people protesting in other countries other than ours because of these platforms, because of Instagram, because of YouTube, because the message is getting out there and it's coming from the people. So yeah, God bless Dave Chappelle for that. It was a beautiful thing that he did.
You've talked about also using your platform in light of everything that happened. It's actually your best friend painted that mural of George Floyd, right?
Yeah, that was so cool. You know,
And
George Floyd is from Houston. He's from Third Ward in Houston. And my boy Alex, you know, we have this, you know, we had our shirt company and everything together. He's been my best friend for almost 15 years. And he's an amazing painter. And he's kind of like the Houston boy. Everyone knows him from Houston. And Floyd's friends reached out to him. And they were like, could you paint something on this wall right now? And literally without hesitation, man, him and his mom, because his mom's an amazing painter too, they just grabbed whatever paint they had. And I'm telling you, they knocked that piece out. If you guys can go to my Instagram or anybody's and just look at it, man, it's beautiful. I keep telling him, I was just talking to him yesterday. I was like, this is the best work you've ever done, man. And what a beautiful thing that you've done for his family, because his mom lives right down the street from that mural. She gets to drive past that all the time and see it, and people are like dropping flowers off, and it's just beautiful, man. It was just a beautiful thing that he did. Alex Ramon is his name.
have your family, any family members, been talking to you about like what's happening? And when they do, how do you explain this moment to them?
I'm sorry, one more time? It cut right.
So
right
do any of your family members in the Philippines, everyone is kind of paying attention to what's going on.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Do they ask you to explain it, and how have you kind of contextualized it? Because I think that's going on for a lot of us,
Yeah.
especially in, the Asian American community, explaining to our, parents, family members, like why this is important.
Yeah, you know what's beautiful about this generation, and what I mean by this generation, I'm talking about my son's generation. Like, they're understanding through Instagram and Twitter, and like it's really a direct connection without explaining. Like, you're hearing the real voices of people in real time. Whereas when I was his age, you had to wait for like 6 o'clock news, and it's whatever that they can show you during that minute that they talk about it. Whereas now you're getting it live, and it's real time, and it's coming from real people that are right there posting it. And it's educating the world, man. They see the pain. They see that there's change that's needed. And it's a beautiful time that we live in, man. God bless it. My son gets it. Everyone gets it.
Do you want to take a couple questions from people watching? Can we open it up to some questions? Are you okay with that? Okay, yes. I'm going to turn on comments. So if you guys have some questions, put them in the comments down here, and I'm going to unpin. Now we're going to see if I can do this. So there's a lot of emojis. So if you guys have some questions about the special, okay, so I think this is something that, so Sharon asks, what are your thoughts on, there's a viral video showing an older woman who attacked a young Filipino woman in Torrance. And, we've seen a lot of these kinds of disturbing videos aimed at the community kind of circulating around. I guess she wants to know, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's always going to be people that are ignorant and uneducated, and just not understanding the climate that we're in right now, and it's sad. Those bad people out there aren't the good people out there that are really trying to get that message across, and that's what I don't want anyone to do. You know what I mean? I don't want one person's stupid how do I say it? What that person did reflect on this whole movement. You know what I mean? We still got to understand that there's always going to be bad people out there that are doing the wrong thing, and we can't pay attention to that. Let's always like focus and stay on course. You know what I mean? And remember that this is change that needs to be happen, and something like that is just not good. Not good for the movement.
Another question, people are already asking when the next special is.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's already in the work. It's crazy. this third special, they literally asked for the hour. They go, "Are you ready for your third hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." But it was such a passion project that I was like, I told them in the room, I go, I would really love to like do this for my family and do this for the Filipino culture and just get something out there that we could be proud of. So that's why I delayed my hour just one more year. So we'll shoot it next year. But, you know, God bless Netflix, man, because, you know, my first special, Live from Seattle, if you ever seen it, my first one, Live from Seattle, they passed on it a few times when I kept telling them I got this hour, and they kept saying, "No, we'll pass, we'll pass." So I shot that myself. You know, that came out of my money. I financed that whole thing, and I invested in myself, and I prayed to God that they would look at it and buy it. And when we submitted it to them, they were like, "All right, we'll take it," and they put it up. And I'm glad they did. And no disrespect to Netflix. I know when you passed on it, you know, maybe it was the wrong time, but thank God they bought it from me and posted it, because after that, it opened up other doors and other opportunities for me to do this special. So when they gave me this special, it's kind of like this Filipino thing. When one person makes it, you open the door and bring other Filipinos in. So that's what I did. I was in the Netflix building, and I opened the door, and I was like, I got some more Filipino friends. Let's go. Get in here. Come on, before they close the door. Get in here. So that's what that was all about, man. It was just like my opportunity, and I wanted to help my other Filipino friends to give them a chance to shine, man.
And you really did. I don't think that door is closing, actually. I think
No.
it's still wide open. And that's
No.
a really beautiful thing. Some people in the comments, I had to turn them off, sorry guys, but, you know, saying that they were really appreciative that you were representing for Filipinos, the Filipinx community, and doing this. How hard was it to coordinate, by the way, to get everybody like on board and like on this in the Google Calendar and, you know, all of the things?
It was quite easy, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be really, really hard, but thank God to my sister and the production company that we had at the time, because man, everyone was just on board. We shot that thing in like 4 days, like everything, location, live, everything. And by the way, the volcano went off, so that was even crazy. So, you know what I mean? A lot of us had to stay indoors, and yeah, but it was just, I can't believe, I think everyone was just like passionately involved in it. Like everyone that was on stage was grateful, thankful, and happy to represent, and like we didn't want any problems. So I think we checked our egos at the door that day, all of us.
Fantastic. Joe, this was so much fun. I'm glad you got in. I'm glad you requested. You
Oh
worked
my
it
God.
out.
So bad. Let's take a picture. You ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Ah, that's adorable.
Joe, this was so fun. The
Thank
special
you.
is hilarious
Thank you so much.
and so much more than I think anybody would just think of as a comedy special. You know,
Thank you.
it's really something good. And I didn't mean to start any beef with you and Chappelle, because
There is none.
I know.
There
I
is
tried,
none.
but I knew it wasn't gonna happen.
No.
What did he tell you? What did he tell you 25 years ago? You said words stuck with you. What did
Oh,
he tell you about that?
never be afraid to say what you want to say. And you know, if one thing, I had to go in front of him. He goes, "Always do you," and I always took that with me. Do you, be you on stage, and never be afraid to say what you want to say. Dude, he's amazing. That's the GOAT right there. And God bless it. Everybody, watch what he put out. That special is very important, what he did, especially during the times that we have. That's a very, very, you know, for that particular movement, that's the voice you want right there. Chappelle is amazing, and listen to what he had to say, man. It's pretty amazing. Commend him for it.
Thank you, Joe. All right. Have a good weekend and take care. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.